Hello and welcome to the channel. My name's ESG and we're going to take a deep dive into the Mefo bills if you're using the historical route, the 4-year plan, and how the Mefo bills negatively affect your economy in Hearts of Iron 4 Gotterdammerung DLC. If you choose the left side of the German economic focus tree, you can see here that you replace Mefo bills with recovering economy. Mefo bill payments is going to give you a consumer goods factory factor of 40% for 100 days. Now I'm going to show you what happens if you stay on the right side of the economic focus tree and you go institute price controls. Institute price control measures are going to give you a list of decisions where you can start to remove the Mefo bill debuffs. So we're going to go ahead and start testing price control measures and see how it affects our economy. All right, it's March 1937. I just received Institute price control measures. Bear in mind, the Mefo bills are over 52%. We have a plus 10% expected number of factories put on consumer goods. This is why I complete the Institute price controls focus by March 1937, because at this point, the Mefo bills are over 50% and I start receiving massive debuffs for the Mefo bills. Now, I'm going to be turning the AI off so that there's no trade happening between Germany and the AI that could affect civilian factories in the construction queue. So we'll just type AI here in the console, and AI is now off. The interesting thing that I found here is that you have to wait 3 or 4 days until the Institute price control measures decisions actually affect your civilian factories in your construction queue. So the first thing that I want to do here is just click off launch guns before butter campaign. Immediately, the debuffs that you receive from the Mefo bills, the really bad ones, are gone. Consumer goods factories factor is still above 50%. Then if we wait a day, we're at 47%. Our civs in our construction queue are still at 35. And the people expect 21% of our 81 civilian and military factories to produce consumer goods. So let's go ahead and wait a few days here and see if this is affected at all. Okay, so there I let 4 days go by and we received 1 civilian factory from reducing the Mefo bill debuff from 52% to 47%. So you might be fooled by this if you just let 1 day go by. It appears that you need to let 3 days go by to where the game updates the amount of consumer goods factories factor that you have. We've reloaded the game here and we're back at consumer goods factories factor of 52%. Now let's see what happens if I just choose all the price control measures at once. In the previous example, we went from 52 to 47% and we received 1 civilian factory in our construction queue. Now let's choose all the price control measures and see how many civilian factories we receive. Okay, again, I'm going to turn the AI off and we'll simply click off all of the price control measures. We still have 35 civs in the construction queue. Put this one to the bottom so it doesn't accidentally create a civilian factory. And there we go. After waiting 4 days, we now have 43 civs in our construction queue. We are at a Mefo bill debuff of negative 13%. So effectively, that was a 65% from when we didn't institute any price control measures to now instituting all of them. So at a Mefo bill debuff of negative 13%, our expected consumer goods factory factor is 13%. So of our 81 civilian and military factories, 13% of them now are going to consumer goods. And essentially, we've buffed the amount of civs in our construction queue. Yes, you're going to take a stability hit. Yes, there is a -1 resource to trade. So essentially, instead of trading away 1 civilian factory for 8 of a resource, you only get 7, but you get all those civs. I don't have to trade for many resources whatsoever. So the -1 debuff to trading resources doesn't really affect me that much. So at this point in my testing, I would recommend going Institute price controls by March 25th, 1937, taking them all at once. The reason being is there's other things in your focus tree that are important to get as well that save political power, that also gain you a lot of political power. I go remilitarize the Rhineland, Führerprinzip, down to Party Chancellor Bormann. I then get reorganize the Wehrmacht so that I get the political power, but I'm also set up to go Anschluss early by the time world tension spikes in July of 1937. As you can see here, I'm completing Anschluss early in about March 1937. That's fairly easy to get to. World tension is currently 5%. The reason why I delay Anschluss is so that Austria can receive bonuses from its new focus tree. As you can see here, when world tension is greater than 10%, the United Kingdom is able to do the general rearmament focus, which grants negative 15% consumer goods factories factor. I'm not sure if the AI goes down this path right away, but I just play it just in case. That's why I delay Anschluss a little bit. And the other thing that happens in July of 1937 is the China War, and that always spikes world tension above 10% anyways. So getting Anschluss doesn't matter at that point. The world tension spike that you receive from Anschluss won't spike world tension over 10% because it's already greater than 10%. So after reorganizing the Wehrmacht, I then go 4-year plan to autarky efforts, and then some point you can come down and get Todd. So you just have to look out for that. And then I institute price control measures. And that's the focus tree build that I'm using with the 4-year side of the German economic focus tree to get the most political power gain as well as the most economy for Germany early. If you learned something from this video, please consider dropping a like or subscribing to the channel for more content. Thanks, guys. See you on the next one.